Why is it important that Sadiq Khan bans gambling adverts on the tube?
First and foremost, because it's harmful. It's a harmful product. It's a harmful industry. I think people, especially young people, are influenced by advertising, particularly whatever that is. That's why things are advertised. Companies advertise products to sell them to their chosen market. And particularly with gambling advertising, it's promoted as fun, it's play, it's a game, you can win. So, young people are going to be attracted to these products. We know that we have a growing number of younger and younger people coming through NHS and other support services for gambling related harm. I think currently we stand at 85,000 11 to 16-year-olds in this country diagnosed with a gambling disorder. That is a hugely worrying figure. Um, so I think, we've seen a ban on junk food on TFL. We've seen a ban on advertising around alcohol and cigarettes because the research is there and the harm is well known. Well, the research is there in regards of the harm from gambling. So, I've seen comments that Sadiq has made previously around the work with Seagar in Haringey that GamLEARN were part of, where he quoted, we need more research. You don't need more research. The research is there. These are harmful products being advertised, normalized on our high streets that young adults are using buses, tubes, trains to get to school and back all day, every day. And I find it astonishing that we're still seeing it so blatantly in our communities every day. We can't get away from it.
And from a personal kind of perspective, what is it that bothers you so much about seeing these adverts?
Well, from someone that's experienced that harm, um, through living with somebody with a gambling disorder and seeing the destruction that it caused myself, my mental well-being, my family, and now supporting other families whose family members have are living with a gambling disorder and seeing the destruction. It can be quite triggering, if I'm honest. I'm quite sure that other individuals or families that have been infected by drugs or alcohol, or even to be extreme, maybe somebody that's living with a lung cancer or a cancer diagnosis might feel equally as triggered when they see advertising or they see people smoking. They might want to go up to them and say, "Don't do that. Look what happened to me." And I feel a bit like that with gambling because I think we are aware of the harm that smoking does. We've seen how that industry's changed, how they're having to put those most awful pictures on cigarette packets. And I think in general in society, we understand that alcohol can be addictive. We understand that with illegal substances, and I think that's something that children are even taught about in schools now in PSE around drug use. I remember there was a huge campaign years ago, Talk to Frank. I was part of that campaign. And but I think, as I say, gambling particularly is not something that's seen normally as a harmful product. It is advertised as fun, as playing. It's a game, and it's not. And not so much now because I do a lot of work in this space, but there are times when I would find it quite frustrating that there I am waiting for my bus. I've had a wretched day at work and I'm seeing all these bright adverts around, this carriage has now become a casino. I don't know if you ever saw that one. It was awful. It was on the side of taxis, it was on tubes, it was on, and I just thought, really? Like, it's 2025 and we're having to deal with this. Sorry, I just find it's the elephant in the room for families that are affected by gambling related harm. It follows you everywhere. It's awful.